Are you having a hard time letting go of your grieving? This might help. Don't hurt to try, right? I know it's really hard to grieve. I just recently lost somebody, so I totally do understand. But if you're having trouble letting go of your grief, maybe what you could do is just sit in your feelings. Just sit there, feel it. Because once you feel it, you can come out from the other side. I remember years ago when I lost my son, say for example, I was grieving so hard, but I could not cry. Why is that? Because I was scared. If I cried, I felt like I was never, ever gonna stop because the pain was so sharp and so deep. And I remember one day, finally, actually, besides being scared to cry, because I felt like I wouldn't stop crying, that I felt guilty if I was happy. I was so hard on myself when I think back at that I wouldn't grin if somebody smiled. I wouldn't laugh because on some level I felt guilty if I was happy for 1 second. Like I was turning my back on my son or something. It was weird. But I would say to you, sit in it. Because when I did finally sit in it, I cried so hard. Actually, I fell against a wall and I just slid down the wall. My body just let go and I just cried like a river. But after that, I could start smiling. And then I noticed after a while, I could start laughing. And I wasn't feeling guilty. And I think because I sat in my feelings, and it was so hard and so scary to take that step, to sit in your feelings and just feel it. You have to release the pressure of the grief. Does grief go away? Not really. In my opinion, no, it don't. I mean, it's been over 40 something years since I lost my son. And I still grieve over him. But each day that went by, it got a little easier. I started smiling a little bit more. I started laughing a little bit more. And I remember even maybe there was a couple days where I didn't, like a day would go by and I didn't think of him. I felt guilty. But then more days would go by where maybe I didn't think of him and I didn't feel guilty. But I think that's the way to knock down that door. When you are in your grief so bad, like I was explaining about myself, and when I sat in it and I cried, then the door opened and the flood just went right out of my body and it got so much easier. So like I was saying, every day gets easier. But it don't ever go away. I will always miss and grieve my son, but it's not that heavy, heavy pain like on the beginning. So if you're grieving, I know it takes a lot of guts, a lot of willpower, but try to sit in your pain. Try to sit in it so you can release it. That's just something to think about. God bless you. And I'm sorry for your loss, truly.